The stars stretched endlessly across the black sky. From the edge of the galaxy, a fleet of small, silver ships moved with precision and silence. The Xiran cluster had sent them to a planet they had only studied from a distance. The mission was simple: observe and report on the beings called humans. The scouts were confident. They had explored many worlds before, worlds where life was predictable and easy to understand. Earth was supposed to be no different. Commander Rilo sat in the main cabin of the lead ship, staring at the glowing blue and green marble below. The planet rotated slowly, clouds drifting over vast oceans and lands. From orbit, it looked peaceful, almost fragile. Rilo's eyes narrowed. They had expected primitive beings, creatures who could barely build simple machines. But they were about to see what humans were truly capable of. Approaching low orbit, said a young scout named Taro. His voice was calm, but excitement flickered in his tone. Sensors show multiple structures. Large settlements and metal machines moving on land. Rilo nodded. This is what we came for. Begin stealth mode. The humans must not see us. The fleet shimmered and bent light around their hulls, making them invisible to Earth's eyes and satellites. Even the most advanced telescopes could not detect them. The first day of observation was quiet. The scouts used drones that could slip through city streets, floating above crowds unnoticed. They watched humans walking, talking, and working together. Rilo expected to see chaos and mistakes, but he was surprised. Humans built machines that moved on their own. They connected with one another in ways the Xyrans had not fully understood. They are smarter than we thought, Taro whispered, almost to himself. A child had fixed a broken water pump with tools that were not meant for it. Nearby, another group of humans worked together to move a heavy object. No instructions, no guidance. They simply adapted. Rilo's jaw tightened. He had seen many species, but humans were different. Their unpredictability was fascinating and dangerous. The scouts recorded everything: their homes, their machines, their strange ways of communicating. Every day brought new surprises. Some humans could create electricity from sunlight. Others could send messages across long distances without wires. The Xyrans had known about electricity in theory, but humans had learned to use it in ways even the scouts had not imagined. That night, the fleet hovered silently above the oceans. The lights of cities twinkled below like a carpet of stars. Rilo stared at the world, thinking about the reports they would send back. They expected Earth to be a simple observation mission. Now, it was something more. Something that required caution. "Commander," Taro said after a long pause, "do you think they will notice us?" Rilo shook his head slowly. "Not yet. But we must stay careful. Humans learn quickly. If they see us, they will not panic. They will adapt. That is what makes them dangerous." The scouts continued their work. They floated near factories, watched humans cultivate crops, and observed children learning in schools. Every human activity, no matter how small, seemed full of thought and purpose. The aliens had assumed that humans would be slow, limited, and weak. They were wrong. Humans were creative, strong, and curious. As the days passed, Rilo began to feel something he had never felt before on a mission. Respect. The humans below were not just another species to catalog. They were clever, resourceful, and filled with energy that no machine could match. Even when mistakes happened, humans learned quickly. One human dropped a tool, but moments later, they had not only fixed it but improved it. The scouts were amazed. Taro broke the silence. "Commander, their communication, it is fascinating. They seem to share ideas instantly. When one person solves a problem, others understand it without direct teaching." "Yes," Rilo replied. "They adapt faster than any species we have seen. Observation is not enough. We must study carefully." The Zyron cluster will want to know how humans survive in such an unpredictable world. The fleet drifted in silence for hours, watching the humans below. The scouts were not afraid. Yet, a quiet feeling of uncertainty began to grow. Humans were clever, too clever perhaps. Rilo could sense that Earth would not be easy to understand. They had come to spy, but the humans might be watching them in ways they could not detect. Night turned to day, and the planet spun slowly beneath the fleet. The scouts continued their work, sending drones into cities, forests, and oceans. Every human action was recorded. Every small invention was noted. Rilo realized that this mission was no longer simple. Earth was not a world to observe from a distance. It was a challenge, a puzzle, and perhaps a warning. The arrival of the scouts had begun quietly. But even in those first hours, one thing was clear. Humans were not ordinary. They were capable of surprising even the most experienced alien observers. The galaxy had underestimated them, and Rilo wondered how long it would be before Earth revealed its true strength. The scouts continued to orbit the planet quietly. Rilo watched the humans with growing curiosity. Each day brought new discoveries. Cities expanded with roads and vehicles moving in perfect order. Humans built towers of metal and glass that reached toward the sky. They created bridges over rivers and machines that could fly. Every human action seemed deliberate, yet flexible. Taro sent a report to Rilo, his voice filled with awe. "Commander, they are more organized than expected. Their machines are simple compared to ours, yet they perform complex tasks with ease." Rilo nodded. "Yes. Observation is revealing more than we predicted. We must learn quickly. Their creativity is a weapon we do not yet understand." The scouts decided to send small cloaked drones closer to observe individual humans. They slipped through the forests and cities unnoticed. In one city, they watched humans move large objects using machines powered by the sun and wind. Children ran and played, yet they seemed aware of safety and rules. Adults communicated without shouting, sharing information through gestures and devices. Even animals were part of their daily life, helping in farms and homes. One drone approached a small workshop. Inside, a man worked on a machine that glowed softly. The humans noticed the machine had a problem. Instead of panicking, the man studied it carefully. He adjusted some wires, twisted small pieces of metal, and the machine began working better than before. The drone recorded everything. Rilo studied the images with fascination. "They learn from mistakes," Rilo said quietly. "They improve quickly. This is unlike any species we have seen before." Meanwhile, Taro focused on communication patterns. Humans did not speak the same words all the time. They used gestures, signals, and strange devices that transmitted information instantly. When one human solved a problem, others copied the solution almost immediately. Rilo realized that humans could share knowledge faster than the scouts could even process. Suddenly, one of the scouts, Myra, pointed to a small field near a village. Humans were working together to lift a heavy object. At first, the task seemed impossible. The object was too heavy for one person. Yet the humans coordinated, moving in rhythm, supporting each other. Slowly, they lifted the object and placed it in the right position. Myra's eyes widened. "Commander, their teamwork is remarkable. They do not rely on strength alone. They plan, adapt, and succeed." Rilo leaned forward. "This is exactly what I feared. They are not just strong or clever individually. Together, they become something much greater. We must observe carefully. Underestimating them could be a mistake." The scouts spent several days observing the humans in different regions. They watched people repairing broken bridges, using simple tools to fix machines that the scouts had thought were fragile. They watched humans explore forests and mountains, surviving storms and natural dangers. Nothing seemed to stop them. Every challenge became a lesson, every failure became a solution. Taro asked a question that Rilo had been thinking about for days. "Commander, do you think they notice us?" Rilo shook his head slowly. "Not directly. But they sense more than we give them credit for. They notice patterns. They learn quickly. If they ever suspect us, they will adapt faster than we expect." That evening, the scouts hovered above a river. Humans were building a dam to control the water flow. The project was enormous, requiring many people to work together. The scouts had seen other species build structures, but humans combined knowledge, planning, and creativity in ways no one else had. Myra spoke again. "They are unpredictable. Even when we predict their actions, they change the plan instantly." Rilo agreed. "Yes. That unpredictability makes them dangerous. They are not only clever but flexible. Observation alone may not be enough to understand them fully." The scouts continued to watch, fascinated by the humans' daily life. In one small village, they saw a girl invent a device to carry water more easily. In another city, a group of men and women repaired a broken transport vehicle with limited tools. In each case, the humans learned quickly and improved their methods. As the fleet prepared to return to higher orbit for a report, Rilo spoke to the team. "We came to observe and report, expecting an easy mission. Instead, we find ourselves learning. Humans are not simple. They are strong, creative, and resilient. We must be careful. This world may be more dangerous than the Xiran cluster believes." The scouts drifted silently above the planet. The humans below continued their work, unaware of the eyes watching them. Rilo knew one thing clearly. Earth was not a world to conquer or underestimate. It was a world to study, with beings who could surprise even the most experienced observers. And in that quiet moment, the first hint of admiration appeared among the scouts. They had come to spy, but already, they could not help but respect the cleverness of humanity. The scouts had been observing Earth for several weeks. Each day revealed new surprises about humans. They were clever, strong, and adaptable. Yet Rilo began to realize that humans were more than just intelligent, they were unpredictable in ways the scouts could not fully measure. One morning, Taro reported a strange reading from one of the cities. "Commander, there is activity in their skies. Something is moving toward our orbit." Rilo focused on the screen. Small metal objects, unlike any known aircraft, were ascending from Earth. "These are not ordinary vehicles," he said, tension in his voice. "Humans are experimenting." Myra adjusted her instruments. "They are tracking us. But they do not know we are here. Yet they are aware of something unusual." Rilo leaned back. Humans had never been seen responding to alien presence in previous missions by the Xiran cluster. Normally, species either ignored the scouts or panicked. Earth was different. These humans were observing, testing, and adapting without fear. The scouts watched carefully as human vehicles moved in formation. Engineers on the ground adjusted controls and instruments as if following an invisible pattern. Slowly, they traced the paths of the scouts' cloaked drones. The humans were precise, methodical, and fast. "Commander," Myra said quietly, "they are learning. They are adapting to our movements in real time." Rilo nodded. "I feared this. Humans do not act randomly. They learn from observation and apply it immediately. This is a level of intelligence that no algorithm can predict." One scout, curious and daring, decided to descend closer to observe the humans' technology. As the ship approached the outskirts of a city, humans activated strange devices on the ground. Bright beams of light shot into the sky, scanning the air. The scout attempted to evade, but the beams were faster than anticipated. "Commander, we are being tracked," Taro reported. "They have found a way to detect us." Rilo's eyes narrowed. "Maintain stealth. Retreat if necessary. Humans are clever, but they are not fully aware of us." We must test their limits. Below, humans adjusted their devices and shared information quickly. Messages passed from one group to another in minutes. When one device detected movement, others responded instantly. Engineers modified the controls, predicting the scout's next move. The scout ship had to maneuver in ways it had never before attempted. Myra looked at the screen in astonishment. They are improvising. Their technology is simple, yet their strategies are complex. Each response is faster than the last. Rilo spoke quietly. This is what makes them dangerous. They do not follow fixed rules. They observe, they learn, and they act. We are no longer the teachers. They may become the students, and quickly surpass us in adaptability. The scout ship barely avoided being detected fully. It hovered above a river for safety. Below, humans had built a temporary observation tower using metal beams and simple tools. From that tower, they watched the skies with patience and intelligence. The aliens realized that humans did not panic when faced with the unknown. They calculated, experimented, and adjusted. Taro broke the silence. "Commander, do you think they could challenge us if necessary?" Rilo's voice was firm. "Yes. If humans decide we are a threat, they will adapt faster than we expect. Strength alone is not enough. Their intelligence combined with creativity makes them a force even the galaxy may underestimate." As the day passed, humans continued their work below. Engineers built improvised machines to measure atmospheric changes. Children and adults worked together to solve problems, sharing knowledge openly. Every failure became a lesson. Every obstacle was met with determination. Rilo watched and reflected. The mission had been to spy on humans quietly. Now, it was clear that humans were testing them in return, though without knowing it. The scouts had underestimated the planet. Their confidence had been replaced by caution and awe. In the evening, the scout fleet gathered in high orbit. Rilo addressed the team. "We came to observe a primitive species. Instead, we have found a world that challenges our understanding. Humans are resourceful, intelligent, and adaptable. They do not panic. They do not hesitate. And they do not surrender easily." Myra added, "They learn from mistakes and improve. Each time we try to test them, they respond in ways we do not expect." Rilo nodded. "We must proceed carefully. Observation is no longer enough. Humans may be unpredictable, but that unpredictability is their strength. The galaxy has underestimated them. We must not." That night, the scouts watched silently from orbit. The humans below had no idea of the alien eyes upon them. Yet the humans' work, their clever machines, and their ability to adapt had changed everything. The scouts began to see that Earth was not just a planet to observe. It was a living example of resilience, intelligence, and courage. For the first time, Rilo felt a sense of respect for the humans. They had come to spy, expecting easy answers. Instead, they had found challenges, surprises, and a species that could rival even the most advanced civilizations in ingenuity. The scouts understood one truth clearly: humans were not a threat to fear. They were a species to study and, perhaps, admire. The fleet drifted above the planet, quiet and watchful. The humans below continued their daily life, unaware of the subtle contest unfolding in the skies. Earth had begun to show its strength. The scout fleet continued to observe Earth, but a new mission awaited them. Rilo received a signal from the Zyron cluster. Reports of a strange cosmic void had reached them, and the scouts were asked to investigate. The void was a dark region of space where stars disappeared and instruments often failed. Many ships had vanished there before, but the Zyron cluster believed humans could handle anything they might face on Earth. Rilo gathered the team. "We leave Earth orbit for a short time. The void is dangerous. It is unlike anything we have encountered. Every instrument fails there. Navigation is uncertain. Taro's antennae twitched nervously. Commander, what if we disappear like the others? Rilo's eyes were steady. Then we learn nothing. We must proceed. Humans below are clever, but we have not yet tested ourselves. This mission will tell us what is truly possible. The fleet moved away from Earth. The blue and green planet became a small dot in the distance. Ahead lay the darkness. As they approached the void, instruments began to fail. Radar could not detect anything. Lights from the fleet dimmed unnaturally. Even the normally confident scouts felt tension. Myra spoke softly. Commander, this place, it feels alive. The void seems to watch us. Rilo did not answer immediately. The void was silent, yet it affected every sensor. Space itself felt different. Time seemed slower. The scouts had never experienced anything like it. Suddenly, a ripple passed through the void. A ship at the edge of the formation trembled and alarms rang. Rilo commanded calm. Maintain formation. Trust your training. Do not panic. Taro adjusted the controls. The void is affecting navigation. We cannot chart a clear path. Rilo studied the sensors. We must rely on instincts, not instruments. Humans below adapt to unknown challenges. We must do the same. Observe, learn, and move carefully. The fleet entered the void. Darkness surrounded them, broken only by the faint glows of their ships. Space seemed thicker, almost like moving through water. Every maneuver required precision and attention. One wrong move could send a ship spinning into nothingness. Hours passed. The scouts worked together, guiding one another through the strange region. Communication was difficult, but their training and teamwork kept them safe. Rilo felt a strange respect for the crew. Each scout was focused, intelligent, and adaptable. They relied on one another in a way similar to humans, solving problems as they arose. Then, without warning, the void shifted. A massive wave of energy passed through the fleet. Sensors blinked and lights flickered. A scout ship drifted toward the darkness, unable to respond. Rilo acted quickly. Myra, Taro, stabilize the ship. Pull it back now. The crew worked together, adjusting shields and engines. Slowly, the drifting ship responded. It was a difficult rescue, but their teamwork succeeded. Rilo realized that the void was testing them, much like humans below tested their machines and ideas. After the wave passed, the fleet paused. The void remained silent but seemed less threatening for a moment. Taro looked at Rilo. Commander, this place is unlike anything humans have faced. How do they survive such dangers? Rilo smiled slightly. They adapt. Humans face challenges every day that seem impossible. They find solutions through intelligence, courage, and cooperation. We must do the same here. Panic will only make the void stronger. The scouts continued deeper into the darkness. Strange lights flickered at the edges of perception. Shadows moved in ways that did not follow normal physics. Every moment required focus. Yet the fleet moved forward, trusting their instincts and one another. Suddenly, a massive energy storm erupted in the void. Ships were buffeted, shields strained, and engines screamed. The scouts worked tirelessly, adjusting, dodging, and guiding each other through the danger. They realized that the void was not simply empty space, it was a test, a challenge of intelligence, adaptability, and teamwork. After what felt like hours, the storm passed. The scouts floated silently, exhausted but intact. Rilo looked at the team. We survived because we worked together. Because we adapted. This is the lesson humans teach us without even knowing it. Observe, learn, and overcome. The fleet continued cautiously until the void slowly ended. Light returned, stars reappeared, and sensors stabilized. The scouts had crossed the danger without losing a single ship. Rilo felt a mix of relief and pride. The mission had been risky, but it had proven their skills and teamwork. Rilo spoke finally to the team. Humans below are remarkable, but so are we. Observation teaches us. Challenges test us. Today, we faced the void and survived. Tomorrow, we will return to Earth and continue our study. There, the lessons will continue. As the fleet turned toward Earth, the blue planet seemed brighter than before. The scouts had faced a void that could swallow them whole, yet they had adapted, survived, and learned. Rilo understood something important: humans were not the only species capable of great ingenuity. Challenges, danger, and cooperation could bring out strength in any intelligent beings. The void remained behind them, dark and mysterious. But the scouts knew one truth. No matter how dangerous or unknown a place might be, intelligence, teamwork, and courage could always guide them through. The scout fleet slowly approached Earth after surviving the void. The blue planet shone with oceans and clouds, and the green and brown lands looked alive with activity. The scouts felt a strange mix of relief and curiosity. They had faced danger and returned, but Earth awaited them with surprises yet to come. Rilo addressed the team. We have crossed the void and survived. Now we return to the humans. Our observation mission continues, but we must remain cautious. They are clever and adaptable. Every action we take may be noticed. Taro adjusted the ship controls. Commander, their cities look unchanged. Yet I feel something is different. It is as if the planet knows we have been away. Myra studied the readings. Humans have not stopped. Their work continues. Machines move, people cooperate, and inventions keep appearing. Even after weeks, their progress is clear. Rilo nodded. Yes. They learn fast. Our absence has not slowed them. This is remarkable. Observation alone will teach us more than any mission report could. The scouts sent small cloaked drones to monitor the humans. They moved over cities, forests, and villages, recording activity. Humans were experimenting with energy sources, building machines, and testing inventions. They communicated quickly, solved problems together, and shared knowledge openly. The aliens realized that humans did not rely on fear or rules alone. Their strength came from intelligence, creativity, and cooperation. One drone approached a large laboratory. Inside, humans worked on a device that emitted a soft glow. It moved and adjusted itself, repairing parts automatically. The humans watched it closely and made improvements. Taro whispered, "Commander, they are teaching machines to think. They are inventing intelligence of their own." Rilo was silent for a moment. Humans combine creativity with action. They do not wait for instructions. They learn, adapt, and improve. Even their machines follow their example. Below, humans moved heavy materials using simple tools and clever techniques. A group of engineers coordinated with precision. Each step was carefully planned, yet flexible. When a part failed, they quickly corrected it. Myra said, "Their teamwork is inspiring. They support each other. They succeed where we might fail." Rilo observed closely. This is not mere technology. This is thought, courage, and ingenuity combined. Humans can overcome almost any challenge because they do not give up. They learn from everything. Suddenly, one of the scout drones detected a new pattern. Humans had built devices that seemed to track the scouts' movements indirectly. Small sensors on towers and vehicles adjusted to the drone's presence. Taro looked at the readings in disbelief. "Commander, they are predicting our movements. They do not see us directly, but they sense patterns. They are learning from us." Rilo's expression was serious. "This is extraordinary. Humans can detect patterns faster than we anticipated. If they realized our full presence, they could react immediately. We must proceed carefully." As the fleet hovered above a large forest, humans were experimenting with energy from the sun and wind. They built machines that stored energy and moved independently. Children and adults worked together, testing, observing, and improving. The scouts recorded everything, but each new invention left them more amazed. Myra whispered, "Commander, their inventions are simple but powerful. They combine nature, logic, and teamwork. Each solution is better than the last." Rilo smiled slightly. "That is the essence of humans. They do not rely on strength alone. They combine intelligence, observation, and cooperation. That is why they survive and thrive. That is why they could challenge even the strongest civilizations in the galaxy." The scouts continued their observation through the night. Humans built, repaired, and tested ideas with patience and determination. Even natural obstacles, such as storms or broken machines, did not stop them. Each failure became a lesson. Each success inspired further innovation. Taro spoke quietly. "Commander, we came to spy. Instead, we are learning from them. They are teaching us without knowing it." Rilo nodded. "Yes. Humans have a way of turning every challenge into an opportunity. They adapt, improve, and cooperate. Today, we learned that our presence does not control them. They observe, react, and surpass our expectations." As dawn appeared over the horizon, the scouts watched humans continuing their work. The planet was alive with activity, and the aliens realized that Earth was not a place to dominate or underestimate. It was a world of intelligence, resilience, and courage. Rilo spoke softly to the fleet. "We came to study a primitive species. Instead, we found beings who surpass expectations in every way. Humans are unpredictable, resourceful, and clever. They are not merely survivors. They are innovators, explorers, and learners. Our mission has changed. Observation alone is no longer enough. Respect and caution are necessary." The fleet maintained orbit, silently observing the planet. Humans below continued to live, create, and innovate, unaware of the eyes that watched them. But the scouts knew the truth. Earth was home to a species that could challenge the galaxy in intelligence, cooperation, and determination. For the first time, Rilo felt admiration for humans that went beyond curiosity. They were not only clever but resilient, creative, and united. The scouts had returned from the void stronger, wiser, and more aware of the incredible species below. Earth had proven itself again. Humans had adapted, learned, and thrived. The scouts understood that no force, danger, or challenge could truly stop beings who combined intelligence with courage. And in that quiet orbit above the planet, Rilo realized one truth clearly: humans were not just to be observed. They were to be respected, studied, and, perhaps one day, admired across the galaxy. The scout fleet remained in orbit around Earth. Days passed as they observed the humans, yet each day brought new surprises. Rilo noticed a pattern forming. Humans were not just surviving, they were creating, experimenting, and solving problems in ways the scouts had never seen. Their intelligence was visible in every action, but now it was becoming more deliberate, almost like a spark of understanding that extended beyond ordinary innovation. Rilo gathered the team. "We have seen their ingenuity, their resilience, and their cooperation. But something is changing. Humans are beginning to see beyond immediate needs. They are planning for possibilities we cannot predict. This is remarkable." Taro's antennae twitched. "Commander, what do you mean?" "They are inventing, yes, but how is this different from before?" Rilo studied the readings. "Before, they adapted to survive. Now, they are thinking strategically. They are predicting, experimenting, and preparing for challenges we cannot even measure. This is not mere intelligence. It is creativity and foresight combined." The scouts focused on a large research facility in the northern continent. Inside, humans were assembling a network of machines that could communicate with one another over long distances. They tested energy flows, shared data, and even coordinated small devices to move as a single system. Each machine learned from the other. Taro gasped quietly. "Commander, they are teaching machines to cooperate like living beings. They are multiplying their own intelligence." Rilo nodded. "Exactly. Humans expand their abilities not by strength, but by thinking, sharing, and experimenting. Every solution becomes a foundation for the next. They are accelerating their own progress." Outside, humans were building towers and antennas, not for war, but to test energy capture from the sun and wind. Children helped adults carry small materials. The scouts recorded the scene with amazement. Myra said softly, "Their determination is incredible. Even the smallest humans participate. They all contribute. They understand that every mind and effort matters." Rilo spoke to the fleet. "This is the human spark. They face limitations, yet they do not stop. They find ways to overcome them. They share knowledge freely and support one another. This combination makes them extraordinary." Suddenly, a bright light appeared in the sky above one of the human cities. Humans had launched a simple experimental craft using solar energy. It floated smoothly into the air, guided by sensors and intelligence built by humans themselves. Taro whispered, "Commander, they are flying without engines we would consider advanced. They are thinking differently. Their minds are their power." Rilo observed carefully. "Yes. They use what they have, and they make it more than what it seems. Humans turn simplicity into strength. Observation alone cannot measure them fully. We must pay attention to their ingenuity, not just their technology." Later, a massive storm approached the continent. Humans were caught in its path, yet they worked together to protect their devices and experiments. They moved machines to safe locations, adjusted antennas, and secured materials. Even as rain and wind lashed at them, they did not panic. Their focus was on problem solving and teamwork. Myra spoke with admiration. "Commander, they do not just endure challenges. They learn from them and improve. The storm will make their inventions stronger. Every failure teaches them something new." Rilo nodded. "Yes. Humans convert obstacles into lessons. They adapt quickly and creatively. This is the essence of what makes them remarkable. Not fear, not power, but intelligence, courage, and cooperation." The scouts continued to watch as humans completed experiments in energy, flight, and communication. Each device was tested, corrected, and improved. Humans shared discoveries with one another immediately. Their minds worked together as a collective intelligence, and the scouts could feel it even from orbit. Taro looked at the planet below. "Commander, we came to spy. Instead, we are witnessing something much greater. Humans are creating a future. They are inventors, problem solvers, and learners beyond imagination." Rilo's eyes softened. "This is the lesson the humans teach us. They do not need fear or force to advance. Their greatest weapon is thought, courage, and collaboration. That is why they can face any challenge, survive the void, and build beyond what we expect." As night fell, the scouts observed the humans lighting fires of invention across cities, towns, and forests. Each small light represented ideas, effort, and teamwork. The humans were a species of possibility, showing that intellect, determination, and cooperation could overcome the unknown. Rilo spoke quietly to the fleet. "The human spark is alive and growing. We have witnessed intelligence turned into creation, foresight turned into progress, and courage turned into achievement. Earth is home to a species that can inspire civilizations across the galaxy. They are not only survivors. They are innovators, dreamers, and builders." The fleet floated silently above the planet, watching the humans below. For the first time, the scouts felt that the galaxy might not be ready for beings like these. Humans combined intellect with creativity, curiosity with courage, and individual skill with teamwork. The scouts understood that humans were not just a species, they were a force of possibility, and their potential was limitless. Rilo finally said, "We have observed, we have learned, and we have been humbled. Humans show us that intelligence is not just knowledge. It is the spark that creates, adapts, and overcomes. And that is why they will never be underestimated." The scout fleet had watched Earth for weeks. Every day, humans surprised them with creativity, cooperation, and intelligence. Yet, the final event was about to reveal something far beyond anything the scouts had imagined. Rilo hovered above a large city, studying the patterns of human activity. There was a sense of anticipation in the air, though the humans themselves did not seem to notice it. Taro asked, "Commander, what is happening?" "I do not see anything extraordinary yet." Rilo replied calmly, "Observe carefully. Humans are preparing for something. Their devices, their experiments, and their coordination are all part of a larger plan. They may not realize how impressive it is, but the result will be clear." As the sun rose, humans gathered in open fields, on rooftops, and near rivers. Machines of all shapes and sizes began to move, controlled by energy networks and coordinated logic. Small solar-powered drones lifted into the air. Wind-powered vehicles rolled forward. Towers of sensors activated in sequence. Every device seemed to connect with another, forming a synchronized network of movement and communication. Myra whispered, "Commander, it looks like a show, but it is much more. They are organizing on a scale we have never seen. Every machine, every human, every step is part of a greater plan." Rilo nodded. "Yes. They combine foresight, intelligence, and cooperation naturally. What we are about to witness is the result of their spark. Humans are turning ingenuity into action on a planetary scale." Then it happened. The humans activated a massive array of devices that had been built over months. Solar panels focused light, wind machines moved with precision, and energy flowed through the network. The devices began to lift objects, clear debris, and even assist in repairing structures damaged by storms. Humans directed operations with gestures and tools, guiding machines as if they were extensions of themselves. Taro's antennae twitched with amazement. "Commander, they are controlling machines in real time across the city. They are multiplying their abilities. This is beyond anything we predicted." Rilo watched carefully. Yes. Humans turn thought into reality. They expand intelligence into action. This is why they are extraordinary. They do not rely on power alone. They use minds, creativity, and teamwork. As the demonstration continued, humans combined multiple energy sources, solved unexpected problems, and adapted quickly to changing conditions. A sudden gust of wind threatened to topple a structure, but humans and machines adjusted immediately, saving the building and keeping the operation on track. Myra said softly, "Commander, they learn instantly. They do not fail twice. Every action improves the next. It is as if the planet itself supports their ingenuity." Rilo nodded. Humans create their own success. Their intelligence is not passive. It acts, adapts, and grows. They do not just survive. They thrive and improve. Then, the scouts noticed something remarkable. The humans had developed a device that could sense the scouts' presence. It was simple, yet elegant, combining observation, energy manipulation, and logic. With it, humans could map movement in the sky and anticipate potential threats. Taro looked stunned. "Commander, they can detect us. They do not know what we are, but they sense patterns in the environment. They are learning about us without realizing it." Rilo smiled faintly. "Exactly. Humans turn observation into understanding. They learn from the world around them, and they act on that knowledge. That is their greatest strength. No force, no obstacle, No challenge can stop a species that can think, adapt, and cooperate so effectively. The fleet continued to watch as humans completed the operation. Machines returned to storage, energy networks shut down safely, and humans celebrated their success with joy and laughter. They had achieved something incredible, the combined power of human intelligence and ingenuity on a scale that could reshape their world. Rilo spoke quietly to the fleet. We came to spy on a primitive species. Instead, we witnessed the future. Humans have shown us courage, creativity, and cooperation. They turn ideas into reality. They turn challenges into lessons. They turn knowledge into action. This is the true human spirit, and it will carry them far beyond this planet. Taro looked down at Earth, humbled. Commander, I understand now. Humans are not ordinary. They are capable of anything they set their minds to. Even the void, even danger, they can overcome. Their spark is unstoppable. Rilo nodded. Yes, Taro. Today, we have learned the most important lesson of all. Intelligence, creativity, and courage combined with cooperation create beings who can face the galaxy without fear. Humans are that species. We have observed the spark. Now we know they are ready to shine. As the scouts prepared to leave orbit, Rilo allowed himself a rare moment of admiration. Humans below continued their work, unaware of the eyes that had watched them, yet their actions left a mark on the observers' minds. The scouts left Earth, carrying data, reports, and experiences far richer than any prior mission. They had come to spy, but they left with respect, awe, and humility. Earth was home to a species that could change the course of the galaxy, not through violence, but through thought, courage, and unity. And as the fleet disappeared into the depths of space, Rilo spoke one final truth: humans were not just a species to watch. They were a species to remember, to learn from, and to admire. The spark of humanity burned bright, lighting a path for the galaxy to follow.